that legal residents must wait exactly that much longer for care?
Yes, it does. That's very true. We've had that experience in our emergency room. We've had that experience with patients who've had to delay elective surgery because other urgent migrant patients have come in who needed emergent surgery. We've had to delay maternity patients with planned inductions because we've simply been out of space in our maternity unit with migrant patients who've had deliveries, many of them just coming in at the same time for deliveries.
To Dr. Trenchel, do any of the NGOs out there, non-governmental organizations, have they compensated you for any of the uncompensated care that you're providing for migrants?
No, they have not. We've not received any compensation from anyone.
Thank you. I'm just going to close with this. You know, folks, set aside, we've had the most number of people that are on the terror watch come across our border in the last couple of years in the history of the United States of America. You can set aside the human trafficking. You have the largest, your United States government via the Biden administration is running perhaps the largest human trafficking or complicit in perhaps the greatest, biggest human trafficking operation in the history of the world, along with the cartels, along with the International Organization of Migration, a United Nations outfit, and others. Set those things aside. Just fentanyl alone should be a national emergency in America, and I can't believe we do not have colleagues on the other side of the aisle that are not here today, and even if they're not here today, that are not calling for the same thing that we're calling for. At a minimum, secure the border to stop the fentanyl, or at least reduce the amount of fentanyl coming into America that has made every state, including my state of Wisconsin, a border state. I yield back, Mr.
We hear Secretary Mayorkas come to us all the time on the Judiciary Committee and testify that the most important partnerships above all else for the Department of Homeland Security are the partnerships with local officials. We hear it time and again. And so here is my simple question for you. Has Secretary Mayorkas ever lied to you?
Yes.
And what was the substance of that lie?
So the mayor and I had the opportunity to visit with Secretary Mayorkas. During that meeting, he committed to, after reviewing the border, both from the ground and the air, to specifically address, quote unquote, 9 of the 11 Yuma gaps.
And how many of those gaps have been addressed?
To date so far, none.
Do we observe that this is a lack of capability or a lack of will to go and plug those holes?
A lack of will. We've followed up multiple times, as well as Yuma Sector Border Patrol staff and with undersecretaries, and we were told time and time again that they were issuing contracts, that we would have it no later than June of last year, then no later than September, then no later than November. Every time it kept getting pushed out.
So would a reasonable person observe that this is on purpose?
My wife says I'm not a very patient person, but I was patient every time that I called, and they continued to push this process out. It's not reasonable.
If he'll lie to Mr. Lyons and lie to the community here, then he will lie to us and he will lie to the American people, and that's why I'm very proud to co-sponsor Representative Biggs' articles of impeachment against Secretary Mayorkas, because this is not a lack of ability, it is a lack of will. Mr. Lyons, I'll give you the last word.
Mr. Gaetz, thank you very much. And to what Mr. McClintock was saying, as far as the cartel violence, over the last 14 months, the sheriff and I have been made aware of over 200 assassinations in San Luis Rio, Colorado, where the cartels are targeting law enforcement. This last weekend we had another officer shot, and then retribution the following night. So when you talk about that violence, it's here at our border. They are in control, and we want to take our control, our border control back. And we need an administration that has the will to secure our borders, and that's what we're asking you to do. And I thank you very much for being here.
Thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel. And while you're at it, please leave us a comment. Thank you for watching.